Hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It's great to be with you. It is none other than August 26, 2024, and it's a Monday. Welcome everyone, Monday evening. Whether you're with me at 11:03 p.m., 11:03 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 6 a.m., 6 p.m., doesn't really matter. Thank you so much for being with me. Really do appreciate that. And, we have an amazing master topic this week, one that's really impressed me. Well, a lot of these topics impressed me. So, this whole week, we're talking about unlocking the power of your surroundings because the surroundings actually have more of an impact on this than we think, even if we're not aware of it. So, that's what this whole week is about. Tonight's granular topic, in case you were wondering what the granular topic is, I'm going to share that with you right now. And that is the hidden power of scent, unleashing its influence, series 3, show 35, episode number 3. So before we can get into this and really dig into it, I think the most important thing we have to talk about is what the heck is scent? So according to Merriam-Webster, they define scent as a noun. It is effluvia from a substance that affects the sense of smell, such as an odor left by an animal on a surface passed over, a characteristic or particular odor, a power of smelling, power of detection, a course of pursuit or discovery. That's a scent, okay? An inkling, intimation, a perfume, sense, bits of paper dropped in the game of hare and hounds, a mixture prepared for use as a lure in hunting or fishing. Now, as a verb, scented, scenting, to perceive by the olfactory organs, which are in our nose, smell, to get her to have an inclining, like a sense of trouble. I'm scenting that there's trouble here. So that's what we're talking about. And so now we know what scent is. So do you know that we have a desire to smell good things in life? We do. So, for example, ladies like to smell flowers. What is it? You might ask. So what do guys like to smell as opposed to ladies liking flowers? So I would have to say it can be a lot of different things, right? Guys like a scent that is going to be very strong. Men can appreciate floral scents, but they're drawn more to potent fragrances like wood burning, smoke, let's say a type of rub for a meat, something like that. They like that real embodied type smell. And so that's important to understand, okay? They like the smell of fruits, okay? So the question that I think a lot of you are probably asking me right here, and this light, which is a great light, but unfortunately, if the light is right at a certain angle, like right now it is, we can fix that. It actually causes the screen to get this little, like, there we go, we're better. If it's just right at that angle because it's LED, it's exciting the, let's say the LEDs in the screen, which in this case, are right above the LED bulb. So, with computer screens being LED, and now the newest screens on your laptops are basically they're LCD, so liquid crystal display, which is what this is, and they're very hyperactive to any LED that would be, let's say, bouncing on it. So now that we understand a little bit about scent, the question you might be asking, John, is, so why is scent so powerful? Well, that's an amazing thing. So first of all, there is an area in the brain, most known for processing emotions, learning, and memory, also processes odors. So whenever you smell something, to process the smell, your brain uses the same area that it would use to process emotions and memories. I bet you guys did not know that. So it's really amazing how scents work, and we're going to talk about that. So, how does the body smell? Let's just go into that real quick. Um, so, what happens is the human body is able to smell um, because of the atmosphere, right? What has basically been left behind. But what is the process the body uses to smell anything? Uh, so there are receptors that are uh, just around the novare, that's the olfactory nerve, and allows you to perceive smell. Those receptors actually take the information off to the brain, and that's how we interpret smell, right? So I think that's a pretty cool thing. So it's called the olfactory, Olfactory nerve, Nerve. So how smell works is you have the nostrils um, that, let's say, are able to smell, and they take off the tiny molecules that will stimulate the olfactory nerve receptors, which actually then are brought to the olfactory nerve. The receptors engage in a combination of things, enabling you to identify different types of smells. The back of your throat, chewing food or taking a sip of a drink also releases a set of molecules that help you smell. These molecules travel up your throat to the olfactory receptors in the back of your nose. So your olfactory mucosa plays a significant role in your ability to smell, and the membrane is the upper part of your nasal cavity and contains different types of cells. So the olfactory receptor cells, which support two processes, dendritic process and central process. A dendritic process propels cells toward the tiny hairs in your olfactory mucosa, where they stimulate the olfactory cells. Okay. The central processes direct cells in the opposite direction. So that's away from the tiny hairs. So sustannular cells, which provide support to the nearby tissues, and then you have basal cells, from which both the olfactory receptor cells and the sustannular cells actually develop. So your olfactory nerve is one of two nerves, the visual nerve or the cranial nerve, and it originates directly from your cerebrum. And this is the upper part of your brain, and the cranial nerves start in the lower part of your brain. They include the midbrain, the pons, the medulla, the oblongata, collectively referred to as your brain stem. The olfactory nerve fibers travel a short distance to an area in the upper part of your nose, the olfactory bulb, right up here. And before reaching your olfactory bulb, the nerve fibers pass through your cerebriform plate, and the spongy, lightweight skull bone separates your nasal area from your brain, which is right up about here. So now that we understand how we smell and things like that, so we know that smell has an impact on us because it's able to recall emotions, right? It's able to recall emotions. And so when we're thinking about emotions, because it uses the same area to process them, it's very easy for it to recall on it. So one of the things I want to share with you, how many of you remember going to either a home that you were selling or maybe a home that you were buying, and when you went there, well, the realtor that had that fresh baked apple pie in the oven, right? You walked in the house and it was like, is that apple pie? Oh, yes, it is. Did you guys want a slice? Sure, after we tore the house, absolutely. And so that actually created a good feeling. And so if you loved apple pie and you were there and you smelled that, it took you back to your childhood, like, oh my gosh, my mom used to make me this apple pie. Like in the wintertime, she'd make it every single week. And it was so amazing to just come down and just smell that apple pie and then eat that apple pie. So you get the idea, right? So now that we understand that, and we understand that molecules uh, cause the scents, which travel to the olfactory receptors and then to the olfactory nerve, we know that scent is so powerful because it is the same area where memory is stored. So, do you know why coaches have lemon scents around their office, whether that be a physical coach or a mental coach or performance coach? They have it around because lemon has the properties of allowing you to be better in performance to enhance it. I think that that's a really cool thing. So now I don't want you to smell ammonia, but I'm sure you might have smelled ammonia, maybe blood or any other kind of repulsing smells, and some smells that might even make you regurgitate, unfortunately. And so when you get those smells, it makes us anxious. It makes us sometimes worry or fearful because it just changes our whole state, right? And you know how that apple pie makes you feel, and you know how something that smells really horrible, like rotten eggs, smell, right? It's like, oh, I guess like it just changes your whole mood, right? So let's talk about something else. We talk about scents for a lady and scents for a male. So scents that actually turn on a woman are pumpkin, lavender, vanilla, cinnamon, peppermint, amberette, uh, ylang ylang, and ginger. Now, scents that, let's say, turn on a man are basically vanilla, orange, popcorn. That's why, if you ever wonder why they want to take you out to the movies, it's because subconsciously they feel good at the movie. They don't know why, but I'm going to tell you why. Popcorn gets a man very interested. So, popcorn, chocolate chip cookies, peppermint, and pumpkin pie. As of saying these things to you, vanilla, orange, popcorn, chocolate chip cookies, peppermint, pumpkin pie. I bet you probably were maybe even salivating and starting to notice those different feelings, but the feelings coming through as the smells. That's just like so wild. So even if we're not aware of what's going on in our mind and body, these scents can really change our lives. They can propel us back to an amazing place. Let's say, maybe you were on a trip. I remember going to a salt mine, and I remember this very different smell, a certain kind of climate, and then also that very dry salt smell. Not the most comfortable thing to be around for a while, but you're there for like a good half hour, 45 minutes. And now anytime I would smell either those smelling salts, or I would smell salt in that kind of environment, like, oh yeah, now I remember that was like being in the salt mine. That's like really cool. And so can you think of other scents that might maybe propel you? Well, maybe you remember the smell of chlorine. That might have a good impact on you. It might have a bad impact on you. Perhaps you always were with other guys at the gym or at the pool, and you know that chlorine smell, like it brought you together because you're all there, you're hanging out. But other people, it might have made them sick because they hated to smell chlorine. So there could be different things. And so maybe you go for ice cream, right? And you smell the ice cream, or maybe you go somewhere and you happen to smell something like really delicious. Like what's the most real? There's lots of delicious things that are made. I mean, there are things that can be made. Like, for example, you can smell a good ham, right? And when you smell that ham, it's like making you relive Thanksgiving or making you relive one of those family meals, right? So I think that's pretty amazing that smell has that power on us. And that's just one thing. And it's the hidden power of scent. What we can't see, it unleashes its influence on us. So we need to be aware of what we're smelling. And if we're not feeling great, well, why don't we put out some scents that are going to make us feel good? Maybe that's putting out some peppermint. Maybe that's putting out some vanilla. Maybe that's, putting out fruit so you can smell the fresh fruit. Whatever it is, it can really change your state like that. All right, guys, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been an amazing privilege, pleasure and honor to be with you this fantastic Monday evening. I hope you'll choose to like, love, and support the channel. Comment below, tag your friends, and share this out with all of your colleagues and associates. And be sure to visit where my hat says to go, or the QR code, believemeachieve.com, so you can check out more of my inspiring, amazing creations, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow, which is Tuesday. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your evening. A great